Hi, I'm Ian Griffiths, and this is a talk from the Building Silverlight Business Applications series. We'll now take a look at an enhancement that Silverlight 4 brings to the styling system, implicit styles. Not all business applications consider visual design to be a high priority. However, in the Event Manager application we're using as an example in this series of talks, some parts of the application are end-user facing. Where there are parts of an app that the customers can see, visual consistency is likely to be more important. And of course, there are benefits to consistency of design for internal applications too. Prior to Silverlight 4, the styling mechanism didn't make it particularly easy to achieve consistency. Styles had to be applied explicitly throughout the application. But as of Silverlight 4, it's now possible to write a style that will automatically be applied to all elements of a particular type. If you define a style in a resource dictionary and you simply omit the key, specifying just a target type, that style will apply to any elements of that type as long as they are within the resource dictionary scope and they don't specify an explicit style. So if you put styles like this at the application scope, they can modify the appearance of all controls of the target type in the application. To illustrate that, here's the Event Manager application we've been using as an example in this series of talks. You can see there's a couple of buttons here that we created in an earlier step, and they don't fit in that well with the overall look of the application. So what I'm going to do here is create an application scope style to apply to all buttons, and then we could go on from there to modify that style to make the buttons look more suitable for the rest of the design of the application. So here is the app.xaml, and by default it contains a resource dictionary with various things merged into it. And I could put a separate resource dictionary in here, or I can just add new resources directly in here and they'll go into the application scope. So if I add a style, and I don't set its key, I just set its target type to be button, then any setters in here will be applied to any buttons that don't have an explicit style being picked up from somewhere else. So if I set, for example, the font, I set the property to be font size, and I set the value to be something slightly absurdly large, and if I run this again, you can see it's applied directly to those two buttons immediately. Obviously this hasn't solved my design problems, but I could use this technical mechanism to impose a design of button across the whole application, thus ensuring consistency.